Here we go again. Hey.
What's going on, Malcolm? You've been busy today, huh?
Oh, bro. It is the grind is real. It is real, dog. I can't even, you know. It's football season.
Yeah, I see the shirt.
What it is.
I see the shirt that you got on there, man. That's quite a good looking shirt.
Oh man. It's I was going through my drawer the other day doing some cleaning and stumbled across this beautiful shirt that represents All-Star Special Teams. You know, the camp that was your main idea, but I believe that I was the first person that you called to say, hey, this is my idea, let's do it.
Yeah, it was Brian Walker designed that logo right there.
He did.
So yeah, that was the
Shout
original logo that was on.
Shout out to Brian.
And if we're being honest, Malcolm, Clarence was actually the very first one that I reached out to. But
really?
It wasn't really with ideas. It was more so like I had this thing on my heart, and just like talking to him for advice almost. And he was like, man, go for it. And then it was later that I called him back and was like, hey, you kind of inspired this. And so we brought him on as a returner coach, and he helped develop a lot of fine returners at a young age.
Most definitely did. And so like I used to work with Clarence with the returners, so that was a cool thing. And now this is my idea, let's do it. That I work with the returners at Centimore, and I've worked with the returners at McKinley, and you know what I'm saying? Like it's something that I kind of never did. I actually had one punt return that I did when I was playing safety at McKinley as a freshman, and it was raining, so I dropped the ball and picked it up and got smashed.
But you learned a little bit about it.
I did. So I'm much better at coaching it than I am actually doing it. But I did see Denmark took a punt to the house when he was at Southern Lab. That was awesome.
Okay.
Shout out to the big bro.
We stopped doing the camps a long time ago, but to give people the time reference, we had a kid named Didi Bowie from Morton, and he won our return competition, I think, both years. And he was a freshman and an eighth grader and a freshman both times. He came from Morton. And as last I heard about him, I think he had signed for Jackson State maybe last year, but I'm not really sure. But anyway, yep.
Yep. So here we are, Trey, at episode 7. I feel like I'm more and more proud of the work that we doing
right.
as time goes along, man. It's really fun to do this thing. So
for people that don't know, we have a guest coming on here shortly. Is a friend of Malcolm and I's from college at Mississippi Valley. Her name is Sonia Curvelo. She's the head women's coach at Prairie View A&M University. So right. We're gonna be talking with Sonia in about 10 minutes. Never done an interview before, so let's hope we don't have any technical difficulties.
Right. Well, we gonna give a little swag love to Prairie View A&M and to Sonia, who is a former soccer player at Valley during our time there. So, we very proud of her and the work she's doing. 2-time SWAC champ coach. So,
So Malcolm, if for the average listener, if I said we have a mutual friend that went to Valley and now she's a coach at Prairie View, what would you think? Would you think that's what are the percentages? It would be a white girl from Canada.
Well, I think since we already said that she's a soccer coach, that might kind of give it away just a little bit.
Maybe a European or something.
Yeah. So
we had a lot of Canadian student athletes at Valley, a whole lot.
A whole lot in all sports, like
baseball, golf, softball. I don't think we ever had any football players though, or basketball, but at least not on the men's side. So, Reed, real quick, man. Before we get Sonia on, I still need to continue to test your knowledge, make sure you're staying up to date, and with your music, right? So,
I'm ready. You know it.
I'm gonna give you a couple of instrumentals, and you said you had some for me or no?
Oh yeah, you know I do. I got something for you. You're gonna see what's happening.
All right, and then I'm gonna tell you about what we're doing at Mississippi with the schools reopening. Big announcement with Tate Reeves. Okay. All right. Are you ready?
Ready.
Song number 1. Don't talk. Here we go.
Turn it up. I already got it if you want to keep.
That's all you get.
Yeah, that's Big Pun, Punisher, and Joe with the remix to I'm Not a Player.
I think technically Still Not a Player is the name of the song.
Still Not a Player. Yeah, that's right, because Not a Player was the original name of the first song, and then they remixed it and said Still Not a Player. And most people don't know the original song. It had a really dope sample on there. It was like, "You're my darling, darling baby."
You don't have to sing. I mean, you could.
I don't mind singing, bro. Like, I'm over the whole being afraid to sing in front of people. It don't gotta sound good. I can hold a key, at least in my own tone.
Fair mostly. Enough. I was never really a Big Pun fan. I liked a few of his stuff. You know, some of the Fat Joe stuff.
My favorite song by Big Pun is "It's So Hard." That one is pretty much the one that I like.
Rappers don't say player anymore. Every rapper used to say player.
Yeah, being a player was a thing. Thing of
all right, the last one here. I'm fixing to go a little bit further up. Here we go.
All right. I got it.
All right, what you got?
It's the Thuggish Ruggish Bone.
That's right.
Bone Thugs and Harmony. That is their first single.
I think that came out, I was like 7th, 8th grade, that album. But I think, man, it was weird. Kids from Mississippi, Louisiana, listening to Bone Thugs and Harmony
from Cleveland, man.
I mean, Cleveland is just
the land.
They made their way down to the South, but anyway, that's all I got for you.
All right. 2 great songs, by the way. I appreciate those. That was kind of easy though. Hopefully, mine not as easy. So I'm ready. If you're ready, are you ready?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, here it is. Song 1 for Trey Butts, a white artist from the 90s. I'm gonna just give you one hint.
Too loud.
Too loud. You don't know that song? You heard it, right?
I know the song. But it sounds too pop rock for me to remember who sings it and what the name of the song is.
All right.
I don't know that one.
It is very pop rocky.
Give me the band or the song, and I'll get the
name of the band is Lit.
Yep, don't know.
The name of the song is My Own Worst Enemy.
Don't know that one, Reed. You don't know
that? You remember that? Like, nope. I'm sleeping with my clothes on.
I mean, I remember.
Yeah, okay.
You know, it's familiar. I just don't know it.
I always liked the little jingle from hearing it on MTV, but when I played it on Rock Band, that's when I was like, oh yeah, this song kind of fun. All right, so that's 0 for 1 for you. Let's see if you can get this one. All right, you ready?
All right.
Don't go 0 for 2, bro.
Okay.
All right. You got
Either
it?
I know it or I don't. Is that Sugar Ray? Yeah. Mark McGrath, lead singer.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I don't know the name of the song though.
The name of the song is "When It's Over."
Okay. Didn't know that one either.
I'm fall in love again.
Man.
All right, I'm not gonna sing that one.
I don't think I've gone 0 for 2 yet. Well, look, before we bring Sonia on in a couple minutes, so the big issue in Mississippi has been like schools reopening. What's everybody going to do? And Tate Reeves did his little press conference today, and so there's going to be a delay of schools for 8 Mississippi counties. I guess that we're supposed to start up, next week. Some have been delayed, and he put out a statewide mask mandate as well. That's pretty much
that's new. That wasn't already a thing.
I don't think it was for any and everything, just a complete statewide mask mandate. But Mayor of Jackson, they're shutting down the bars and things like that, I think, again. But meanwhile, the private schools are still doing their thing, man. So
they going on no issue. Let me ask you this.
I think there's been some tests reported in several schools, but it's just crazy to think that a bunch of private schools and public schools are doing different things. It's almost as if we should be doing the same thing, in terms of reopening and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's schools, like, so it's still dealing with kids, it's still dealing with teachers and staff and all that. So I don't understand why there would be like a difference, but I kind of get it. Let me ask you this. Y'all private schools play in a different league football wise than y'all's public schools?
That's right. It's they have a private school and then they have the public schools, different leagues. However, we have parochial schools that essentially are private schools. You pay to go there, but they compete against public schools. Like Catholic schools, Episcopal schools, things like that.
All right.
But
so there is very, like overcross as far as competition goes.
Yeah. But most of those schools, they might play each other during the summer and whatnot,
All right. Are y'all doing like different phases for like re-entry or reopening of y'all's businesses and schools or whatever, like we are?
Yeah, we're doing that as well. And again,
what phase y'all in right now?
To be honest, I'm not really sure. I haven't even looked at it. I just, wear my mask in places, and I am glad that they, are at least allowing us to go back to schools, because as we talked about, that is kind of essential, But anyway, it's about that time if you want to.
Yeah, well, our governor actually made a new. He had a press conference today about what our plan is. So we are currently in phase 2, and he said that we will be extending phase 2 because we were supposed to go into phase 3 at the beginning of August, but we're going to be extending phase 2 for another 3 weeks. We can't play football until we reach phase 4, and that is kind of disappointing, but we still practicing. We still, following all our protocols and doing what we're able to do with the restrictions that we have been given. Right. School is scheduled to start on August 10th in my parish, and EBR is scheduled to start after Labor Day, and a lot of other parishes have delayed until Labor Day too. So, we kind of just going from there. A little unstable internet, but
right.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's where we are. So we still trying to figure it out. I'm going to school to prepare for next week right now, and I'm honestly, bro, this time of the year is always kind of an exciting time for me. So I'm trying to
It
like
really
get
is
in.
as a
Yeah.
teacher and a coach, you
Yeah.
know.
It's like you try to get into that mode and you want to be ready for, for the students to be there. So we
Right.
pretty much coming up with all our plans for, what's gonna happen if we show up, when the kids show up, how we gonna do it. So yeah.
Well, yeah, man. Like I said, it still seems like all the plans are still written in pencil, but
Mm-hmm.
people, like Sonia said, we just have to adapt. People have to just keep adapting and, you know, being able to change, and we'll be fine. But you want me to tell her to hop on now, Young Reed?
Yep. It's
Okay.
time now. We ready. Without further ado, we would like to introduce, whenever she gets on, head coach for Prairie View A&M soccer, Miss Sonia Curvelo, three-time SWAC championship, once as a player, two as a coach at two different schools.
Sonia was the nicest person that I met at Valley.
Canadians tend to be nice. I
Right.
did learn that. All right. And she is here. There she is. Hello. Welcome, coach.
Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Doing great.
Doing good.
Thanks for having me on here.
Yes, we're
You're
very
welcome.
excited to have you on. Very excited. Our first official interview, right, Young
Yeah,
Reed?
it is.
Um, but yeah, so Malcolm and I were just talking a little bit about you before you hopped on. Just letting people know how we met you at Mississippi Valley, and you played soccer there. Of course, being from Canada, um, and you know, a lot of people, especially in the South, it's hard to say they either met a Canadian or known them well, and it's funny. And at Abena, we met a lot of Canadians, but like, how is that different? Coming to Mississippi as a Canadian, like, did you have perceptions, or what was the biggest, I guess, eye-opening thing for you when you got here?
I had a chance to go on my recruiting trip, so I did know what I was, coming into as well. So I think growing up in a small town, there were certain situations I was able to adapt to. I think one of the biggest, experiences that I felt was a massive change is how friendly the South was, the people. And I think that was one of the biggest things that I noticed right away from Canada and going into Mississippi. So I know everybody in Canada, they say we're nice as well, but not everybody says hi to you. And that's one of the biggest things that I noticed, even when I'm pulling up to campus, that my parents noticed while they were dropping me off the first day. And that was one of the comments my dad had made in regards to how nice the people are treated here. So and that's one of the things you have to look for. During my recruiting trip there, the soccer coach was Dean Joseph. Recruited the program really well to bring the right players in, and I got to start something very special. And I think that was something that really drew me also to Mississippi, starting a new program at Mississippi Valley State University. And I got to go there with one of my friends as well. So I think that made that transition a lot easier for me, moving from Canada to Mississippi. So I think when you see where Mississippi is stationed in Itabena, it's just the university. The university provides the life there in regards to the games, and that's one of the things I know we're going to discuss as we go through our interview today, is how that experience was as a student athlete. So I think a biggest thing too was it was a great learning experience as well, just getting out of my comfort zone. I know that a lot of people, even in the U.S., want to come to Mississippi sometimes. That's one of the things that I've noticed too. Even when I ended up being a college coach, it was hard to get certain players from certain parts of the country to want to come to Mississippi. So I looked at it as an opportunity to play soccer and just to try something new while earning my education. I think it it's not something I would ever change. It would be something I would still decide to go back to today for sure.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, Mississippi it gets a bad rap sometimes, but the people here really are what make it enjoyable, like it Valley, for the most part. But yeah, like the yes sir, no ma'am, was that a thing in Canada, or was when you got down here, was that new to you?
Well, it was new to me, and typically in Canada, we call our coach, by their first name, not by
Right.
coach, or Coach Curvelo, or, Coach Butts, so Coach Reed, that was something definitely new as far as like a different culture. And then like whether it's, calling somebody Miss, Miss, like Miss Williams, for example, so
Right.
that was nice. It was, it's a way of how you respect people in the South. And I think that's important, that if anyone, is going into a different environment, that's their home, that you have to adapt as well too, and embrace the culture and the diversity. I think that was one of the things that, was different for me, right? I grew up in Canada, in a small town where, I was, very close with my family. I didn't, at that time, what brought me to meet new people and new friends was the game. And that's what brought me to Mississippi, to allow me to develop those, strong relationships, those friendships that I have to this day that are like family to me. So.
Right. So.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me, I want to add something right quick, because like that was something that was new for me as well. And like speaking to people, like everywhere you go, like you see somebody 3 or 4 times a day and they still say what's up. Like that ain't something that, Louisiana is the deepest of the deep South, and there is hospitality here and people are friendly, but it's not the same thing as Mississippi. So that was kind of like like everybody speak to me. I don't have to know you or anything. Like you speak to everybody you see on Valley's campus for sure, and it's still kind of like that around this whole state. I kind of noticed that, and it's like, Mississippi does get a bad rap, but at the same time, like the Southern hospitality is a real thing. It's not just like something people just say. It really is the truth.
That's right. See, Mississippi. That's what we did. So, all right, you played soccer, we played football, and the football teams, baseball teams. I mean, we all kind of hung out as athletes, but I know the soccer team itself. Y'all had your own thing that you did. What was it like being a soccer player at Valley? And you were also part of the school's first ever SWAC championship in soccer, which was a huge thing. I know a lot of us, went to watch y'all play, and 2 of the championships you played in. But just tell us a little bit about that. Just as a student athlete there, what was that like for you?
Yeah, I'll always remember my first practice. We didn't actually have a soccer field on campus. So basically our first practice was actually, I don't know if you guys remember where the library is. There was like a patch of grass there. So that's where we trained our first practice, playing a little scrimmage. So, we had to, like our coach had to be creative in finding locations for us to be able to train. But that is my first memory too, is being able to play there. And then we also trained over by the football team, or where the football team used to practice as well. So there is a patch of grass there. Do you remember? You guys remember?
Yeah. Y'all used to practice the worst, the field that was in worst condition.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Blanco and I would be kicking field goals and like punting them. They'd be balls would be rolling into y'all's drills and stuff. Dean would get.
Y'all was doing that on purpose. They was doing it on purpose, Sonia, no doubt about it. 100%.
Yeah. So that's where we prepared, and I think, just looking back, it's incredible, right? Like I look at, even what I have at Mississippi, what I had at Mississippi Valley when I was coaching there, to now what I have at Prairie too. It's incredible. Like, I actually haven't shared that story with my current players right now, but I think, when I take them back, I want to actually show them exactly where I started my first practice. And I think one of those biggest things that we have to understand is sometimes you have to utilize the most that you can with the resources you have available to be successful. So I think one of the things is, we didn't have the best soccer field in the country or even in the conference. That it didn't stop us from wanting to go to training. It didn't stop us from wanting to compete and try to win, a SWAC championship. So I think it gave us more of a fire and a will to, we had less, but we still had more in our hearts because of, the different things we had to go through where another program may not have to, so.
Yeah, I hear, like, coming from us, when we hear athletes complaining about benefits and, how nice their weight room is and all these upgrades, and Valley really improved their facilities and their campus and, the dorms after we left. Like we, but I feel like it was those core years from, 2000 to, 08 that really kind of set Valley up financially, because we were successful in, a lot of sports.
In all the sports, basically.
And, we had a lot of athletes in that time too that went on to play professionally. Sonia, you were one of those athletes, on the soccer field, and you played for the Portuguese national team, which, Reed, I know you can't understand this because you're not a soccer guy, but to play for your national team is the utmost, okay.
I get it. Like, don't underestimate my love and appreciation for the game of soccer. Like, yeah, my boy Malachi is at soccer practice last Saturday, and he gonna be there again this Saturday. And he really one of the best ones out there. So like, he using the left and the right foot already. He learned it from his dad too. So
Okay. But I've only known one personal friend, Justin Mapp here from Mississippi, that went on to play professionally for his national team. So. Sonia, what was that like playing for Portugal and then, also playing professionally in Spain before, you decided to get into coaching?
It was an incredible experience. It was definitely one of the most, memorable experiences I've ever had in soccer. So I'll never forget, just that first communication with the head women's soccer coach that invited me for a 3-day trial, just to obviously have a chance to see if I would be a fit for the national team. So, did my three-day trial, and then I was invited to an international friendly game against the Wales. So, I played forward on the national team, and I think one of the biggest, moments is, just stepping on the field and watching, growing up watching the Portugal national team play. I only watched the men's side, right? You didn't get to watch the women's side growing up. So it was definitely always a dream of mine. And I know my parents are really proud as well. So,
sure.
I think you put all of those things together and all the dreams that you wanted to achieve since you're a little girl and, stepping on the field, I felt all of those emotions, so incredible moments, and, got to play for the European qualifying matches as well. So that was definitely an incredible experience. I love Portugal. It's a beautiful country that also has, beautiful people too. Like the food is amazing as well. So, just from that experience, I got the opportunity to play and sign a professional contract with a team out of Spain, which is in the top league. So, I had some adversity there actually. In Spain, I didn't speak Spanish, so I speak Portuguese. So that was like a language barrier within my teammates. Most of them were from Spain. We had about 2 Brazilians on the Brazilian national team as well, that played for the professional club team as well. So I was lucky to have another actually American Portuguese there as well, who spoke English. She was the only teammate I had that spoke English. She didn't speak well Portuguese, but she tried. So she actually played with me on the Portugal national team as well. So, so that was an incredible experience as far as going on that journey and meeting somebody you've never met from the US when I spent 4 years. So she played at Rutgers Division I soccer as well. So,
oh wow,
nice.
So that was pretty cool. And then, just traveling over Spain and just like getting paid to play, so
Right. The dream.
it's just incredible. Right. So and I think that those are lessons that I've continued to try to learn and grow too, is whenever you come into a different country or a different environment, is doing your best to adjust and adapt to and to learn. I think that's the biggest lesson that I've took from playing soccer in 4 countries, and I think that move to Mississippi was the biggest foundation for me to be able to do and go to Europe to play. So and that's where I have to always give thanks to Mississippi Valley for giving me that opportunity, because I think if I didn't have that opportunity there, it would have been hard for me to continue on to achieve the rest of my professional goals as a soccer player.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And I mean, I love what you said originally about, being able to make the best of the situation at Valley. And that's what we all had to do, and not complain, not make excuses about, the resources that we had or the lack thereof, right. But taking what we had and learning how to, make the best of it, learning how to have a good time with and meet new people in that small town setting, and where the school pretty much runs the town. So, from you to go from that and then live the dream of playing for your national team and playing for, a professional team in Spain, though, I mean, like, think about the contrast of Mississippi to Portugal and Mississippi to Canada and Mississippi to Spain. Like, that experience and all those things, I'm sure, have broadened your horizons and your perspectives on a lot of different levels. So what I want to ask you next is, after doing all of that, what inspired you to want to become a coach? Like, what was the moment in time that you wanted to become a coach, that you kind of realized that you wanted to become a coach? Because I remember that moment for myself around my junior year in college, kind of just saying, I think I want to do this for more, for the rest of my life, maybe, like as a career, as a passion. So, like, when did you kind of know that moment, and how did you end up, at Valley, and, talk about the rest of your career path as far as a coach from Valley to Prairie View?
The first time it crossed my mind about coaching was literally on the ride home on the bus from Alabama A&M at our last game, my senior year. So I remember sitting with my coach too and just having that conversation. But that was the first time it like popped into my head. And then obviously I had my the goals I wanted to play professionally, and also, continue to play as long as I could. Right. So that's where Portugal and Spain came up after my degree, after I earned my degree and finished my 4 years of playing, that, I wanted to continue on playing in the US. So I went to New York, actually, and played for the Rochester Rhinos for a season. So at the time, they didn't have the women's professional league. They had it's called the W League. Which at the time was the highest level a female soccer player can play in the United States. So went on and then played W League again for another club, which was the last club I played for, was Tampa Bay Hellenic. It was a great experience there too. I had, a great coach, a great mentor that, I actually wanted to be a coach like him someday. And I think he was also a big influence in, getting into coaching as well. So, as opportunities, came up, I remember even my college coach calling me about, just a possible assistant position. This was months before I started at Mississippi Valley. So, and then I was actually in interviews for assistant coaching positions at other Division I schools in the country. So, I think, after playing that last summer with the W League team in Tampa, Dean did give me a call and he said that, he's looking to move on, that the opportunity is open there to put my name in the hat. So, and that's basically what I did. I put my name in the hat, and, I had the opportunity to come down for an interview, and just being part of, Mississippi Valley I was there since day one, since the soccer program started. Right. So I know the whole history of the program. So I was one of the first players as well to score and to win a SWAC championship. So there's a lot of history that connected to me, to the program, and that was like the job I wanted. So if another school were to come in to offer me a position, I would have picked Mississippi Valley because of the connection I had to it. So, when you have an opportunity to coach, especially and start your career too at Mississippi, like at your alumni university, right. You should take it. You have nothing to lose basically, and you have an opportunity to gain a lot and to give back too. So, right. And right. I understand the value that it provided me in my 4 years, that, now it's my time to now offer the opportunity for female student athletes to come in and write a new story, but in a story that will also continue to make history.
So we know you won one as a player at Valley, and you won one as a coach as well. And Prairie View even. I've won one as a player. I've never won one as a coach, and I envy my fellow coaching friends that have. Yes. I sometimes wonder how to compare the two. But I think winning it as a coach, there's always that joy to know that, like, you help be a part of that for your players. It's not even really for you. And as a player, I could remember winning one, and to a certain extent, you want to win for your coach also, and for right. your teammates, Yep. So I've tried to be as convincing as I can to let them know, look, this is about y'all. But still never had that feeling. Like, what's that like? I mean, can you compare the two, or they're pretty much the same?
Well, for me, winning my first one as a head coach was in 2012, and it actually, my first recruiting class ever in my history of coaching was juniors that year. So, wow. We were actually in the finals 2 years before that year that we won. So it was such an important moment for our program, but it was for the players. Like, to me, when I saw my players work so hard because they were so close the last 2 years, and for them to, even stepping on training before the preparation into that moment, they weren't going to let that one slip. And that was one of those biggest moments that I could remember, is just watching my players really celebrate the hard work that they put in. And right. The reward was, the championships, but it was the process as well too, yeah. that I also enjoyed the most, and the process it's the growth. And that's why, I just remember some of, Bianca, for example, is a player that, she's much older now too. She's now in her professional career too. She's one of the captains as well. Just seeing her lift the trophy with the team, just was incredible. Right. So, it was nice for our school too. And it was nice to get one also for Mississippi Valley as a coach. That was also important too.
All right. Wow. That's so me personally, I have never won a championship on any level except maybe YMCA basketball. And I was 10, we went undefeated and finished first place in that season. But, we was close to competing for the SWAC championship, 2 years in a row for the football team, after, having multiple losing seasons, and we haven't had a winning season since, we played there. And that was kind of the story for the football team as well, kind of building the program from scratch with Coach Totten in his first year, and me and Trey and the rest of our class being his first recruiting class, and us finishing with back-to-back winning seasons was a big deal. So that was kind of my most proud moment as a competitor. So I can only imagine, I can't say that I'm ring chasing, but obviously I want to win, and I enjoy competition. So, and I enjoy seeing the kids grow. So at the end of the day, as a coach, you want the kids to grow. You want them to develop as players and as individuals. But the championship is just the icing on the cake. So, shout out to everybody who's had that opportunity and everybody who's come close and maybe just come up short. So, Sonia,
Yeah,
I wanna hear you talk a little bit more about just your process as your philosophy as a coach. And you shared some stories with us before about that year that y'all won at Valley, that as a player, kind of the adversity that y'all had to face and how that has inspired you and motivated you in your coaching philosophy, and what approach you take now to get your players ready to play.
Yeah, I think now is just, it's so important to be in the moment, and to, take every moment and make it the most. And that's one of the lessons that I try to, discuss with my players. I think it's open always to discuss and for them to understand that, you know, this moment may not be guaranteed, right? Look at what's going on in the world right now. Right now, we're not playing soccer. So I think that's one of the biggest messages that, I always talk with my players is, when you're on the soccer field and you have like 10 minutes to work on something specific, focus on the task. And that's one of the most important things, because there's so much things going on outside of outside of our lives as well too, because players aren't just student athletes, and I understand that, right? So it's helped me to really shape my coaching philosophy, because it's about development. I know when they come to university, they talk about results, performance, which are key parts as well too. But understand that, this is the first time a freshman's coming in away from home. So they're going to deal with certain things that are a little bit different compared to a player who's now returning their sophomore, junior, and senior year. So it's basically understanding your players, knowing who they are as individuals and also as players. Those are two different things. So, and that's one of the things that, I've changed, especially in the last few years too, of how important it is to build that connection with your players. Because when you build that, there's that trust that, you work with, and that's what is the game changer. And that's why I think I've had so much success in the last year as well too. So, it's not a one way. It's not old school where, the coach tells you what to do and you go ahead and do it. There has to be always a why now, and so that they can see the whole picture. We have to adapt as people and as coaches too, to the constant change in the world, and then also in our sport, and also in the kids that are, growing up through different households as well too. Some kids might not have what another player had growing up as far as resources or other opportunities. So it's understanding that as a coach. And I think that's one of the biggest things I've changed, especially as I develop as a coach and as a person too. That's improved my coaching philosophy and my working relationships with my players as well as my coaching staff. So support is critical from any coaching staff that you have towards your players too. Especially with you talk about adversity challenges. I went through a challenge, not just me, my whole team, not having a coach for a part of my junior year. What would that happen? Like, how would that happen now? How would kids deal with that? Some may not, so,
yes. Right.
Mental health is a big topic as well too, so, and, a university needs to provide those services for people, for students, so, and that's also important too, is understanding and, constantly educating myself. You have to, in the coaching world for sure. So.
Yeah. Coaching high school, Sonia, there's not much difference in terms of the philosophies like what you speak about. It sounds like you build that trust up with your players. And so many coaches, they just, like you said, they just want to tell you to jump 100 times, and you're not supposed to ask questions. You're just supposed to do it. And sometimes that approach works, but it's like you said, if the kids trust you and they believe in what you speak to them is the truth, and they know that you have their best interest, at heart ultimately, you can get them to do great things like winning championships, and you've been there as a player, and I know that a lot of players respect that aspect. I always enjoyed playing for coaches who I knew had been in the same situations I had, as a player. But in terms of your program, getting to know your players, you've obviously done it the right way so far, with winning championships, taking the program to new heights. I don't want to say you've painted yourself into a corner so early. You win a championship early, but like what are your goals now? I mean, you hoping to just to take over the SWAC and go on a run here? How do you prepare your players after already winning championships to get that hunger back and to find that something new to look for?
I think one of the things that I talked to my players, I remember landing in Houston after our NCAA tournament, was the message about closing the gap between us and the best teams in the country. So right now we are sitting as the #1 HBCU women's soccer program in the country right now. So, but I want the players to understand that, we're still not at the top. And to keep them hungry. And I think one of the biggest things that is disappointing is when you get into that first round. Yeah, it's great to be there, but you want to compete, you want to get results. And I think that's the biggest message that I sent to the girls. And, the way they were training this past spring and the spring that we had was incredible. So, and adding more talent, more strength to our team in 2020, this academic year. So, no team has ever won 3 consecutive SWAC championships for women's soccer. So that is the message that we're trying to go for. Only 2 teams have won back-to-back, Alabama State and Howard. So, and I know where our players' minds, and not just hearts, but what they want to. This isn't just something I want. This is something they want as well too. So, and that's what I look for in, even in the recruiting process as well too. Have they won championships in the past? I think those are key factors too when you're looking to find the right people to fit your program as well. So that they're going to continue to challenge and using, daily competitive games that I do within our training, but also what we also do outside of the field. There's a lot of work that we do we call it, it's not the roundtable, we call it special topic meetings, where we can discuss certain scenarios of what could happen within, not just within the game, but also, how teams become great. You look at leadership qualities, you look at self-belief, self-discipline right now, and that's part of our core values. And one of the biggest core values we have to go into this year, because of everything that's going down right now, is being self-disciplined in working out on your own. It's a lot easier when you have your coaches, when you have your strength and conditioning coaches there, to push you a little bit further. So, that's kind of the biggest thing that we've already touched on in the spring, before everything started happening around the world. That, let's see. I haven't seen my players yet. In a couple of weeks, I will be seeing them on campus. And from there, we'll see where we move forward from there. But it's to take a step by step, day by day as well too. And a big message that I did this year was, I called it the countdown mission. So basically, it's a little secret. I don't know if I should put it on here, but it's good for them to stay focused.
You ain't gotta put all your stuff out.
Yeah, it's important to have daily reminders for the players to visually see, so that they can work towards a goal, and they visually need to see it. So, and that's a big thing that also helped with us too. So.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing all that. That's kind of like everything that you really will want, to hear from a coach. Like, make it about the players first. Don't just force feed everything, but work together, and that's kind of how, like my philosophy isn't much different. I'm not the head football coach at where I am, but I was the head baseball coach for a number of years, when I was at my other school. And, that was kind of the approach, and it was building a new program, trying to change the culture and trying to, prepare myself or prepare the team to take it to the next level. So, yeah, that's great stuff. And, as we get ready to wrap up, obviously we've mentioned, what's going on in the world and how everyone is dealing with it. Me and Trey have spoken on our last two shows. We kind of spoke in length about, our thoughts on COVID, and, how what we think might be the best idea, but not saying that we have any of the answers. And my team that I'm coaching football right now, as we preparing for the fall, we have, different protocols that we do, but we've been practicing all summer. And, we preparing, like when it's time to line up and play ball, we'll be ready. So we've been following the SWAC pretty closely, but I wanted to give you a chance to kind of talk about what Prairie View and the rest of the SWAC has going on as far as COVID goes.
I think for women's soccer right now, we usually typically play in the fall. So that season's got pushed back to the spring. I still don't know what that will look like. We're still in the planning phases. This week, we should know more about, what our fall season will look like as far as like basically our off season. So, I do assume more Zoom meetings, but I don't know what training will look like right now or what we can do at this point. So we do have a great sports medicine team that is on top of everything in developing those protocols too, as well as the leadership over COVID-19 at Prairie View. So, we just have to be patient, follow their direction. And at the end of the day, Prairie View is always going to do what's going to be best in regards to the safety of everyone. So that's the approach that they've taken since day one. And that's what I expect as well. So, we just have to adjust and adapt to whatever comes our way and plan accordingly. I think right now, I like to plan. Like right now, I'd actually be in preseason doing the two-a-days.
Like we are.
I'm waiting here patiently as well. But it is what it is. You can't force. This isn't something you can force. This is something that we all have to, adjust to. And that's one of the biggest things I talked to my team this past year, even when we're going through season, is being able to adjust and adapt every week to different competition, different scouting reports that we had to share with our players. So, we've prepared them certain situations to, adjusting and adapting every day to, certain things that are uncertain, right? So, we do have to lead by example and set the right example. So if you need to be wearing face masks, you should be wearing face masks.
Right. I mean,
wear the mask.
As a coach, I couldn't imagine my season getting pushed back, much less, people don't sympathize for all these softball and baseball players that were supposed to play their senior season. These coaches and that have put so much time into it, families, parents. Sports are definitely a very large part of our culture here within our high schools. And, I'm just happy that we're able to still play it here and they'll allow us to, keep moving on and hopefully more people won't be affected. We've already seen a lot of colleges have shut down, a lot of sports programs, soccer being some, and some sports have been pushed to the spring, others have been shut down. So there's going to be a lot of athletes that we're hoping to play this year that aren't going to be. So there's definitely a change coming with, college sports, high school sports due to this whole pandemic that's happened. But I'm hoping that things can just keep getting better, and like you said, wear your mask if that's what they want us to do. And hopefully that'll help, slow the spread, and maybe they can find a cure sooner than later. So definitely, like like I said, Sonia, I've appreciated talking with you this evening. And Malcolm, I didn't know if there's anything you wanted to add to it.
Yeah, I would like to say, how much we appreciate you coming on, taking time out of your schedule to join us, and just have this discussion and share some stories and some history and update everybody on what's going on with you. We're very proud of you for all the things that you accomplished representing, Mississippi Valley State the way you do, even though you're coaching at Prairie View. Shout out to Prairie View as well. But you recruited a girl, a young lady that, went to McKinley High School. They ended up going to Mississippi Valley. So, when you got that job, I was like, if I ever see a young lady who I think would, be worthy of doing that, I would let you know, and that worked out. So, I'm still on that. And if there's anybody any way I can help you, push your career forward, finding players or whatever the case is, we got you back. So thank you again, and best of luck. I hope everything works out, for you guys and your team and the school and the SWAC as a whole.
Thank you. I really appreciate you two having me on here tonight. So I've really enjoyed, just talking about the history. And, it's nice to see you guys still tight as friends too. I think that's important, seeing you guys in college and look at us right now, so
right.
It's pretty incredible,
Right.
right? So those relationships, you continue to to grow, and it doesn't matter. Like, we could spend years not, seeing each other, and if we see each other, it's like we were still in college at Mississippi Valley as far as our connectness, right? So
absolutely,
right,
and that's important though. But I appreciate you guys. Take care, be safe, and good luck during this academic year. Okay.
Thank you, Sonia. We'll be in touch.
Bye, guys.
All right, take care.
Yes. Best of luck to you.
Young Reed. So
all right.
Congrats to Sonia, man.
What's up?
Okay. Sonia's
right.
Definitely doing her thing right now. But yeah, she's right. Just talking about just staying connected, right? So many kids are afraid to leave their comfort zone and go over here and go do this, and it definitely benefited her as well as you and I. But yeah, man, some of the stuff she was referring to with the schools moving, the seasons, everything's still in pencil, like we said, with COVID. Talking about some of those sports that have shut down, how does that affect things? We've talked about it just economically, socially, and the big question right now with college sports, and they've said we're going to play high school sports here in Mississippi. High school football is still scheduled to play. They've said we're going to play college sports. Some pro sports are looking kind of shaky. People are saying, baseball's going under and whatnot, but
baseball's struggling.
It's just,
they playing though.
But are these people getting sick, or are they just testing positive? You know what I mean?
Bro, it's kind of, I don't know
about almost died, or they're just testing positive and that's it.
Well, you gotta think about it, bro. These are professional athletes. These dudes are like well-oiled machines when it comes to health. Right. So most of them probably losing their sense of smell. I haven't really seen any of them kind of come out and say this is what I went through, but they probably losing their taste and their smell, and probably got the fever. But I doubt that any of them like ended up on a ventilator, because they take care of their bodies, they on diets, they got programs in place for them to be healthy. But other people, your average Joes out here who don't have health insurance or whatever, and not working out every day and eating right because they ain't got the means, the resources to do so, there's a lot more risk. So if those two people are in the same space, one of them gets sick, one of them might not have any symptoms, the other might end up in the hospital. So that is like the main concern that I hear people who have reservations about being out and about have, because you never know who is sick and who might get you sick.
Well, I've said it before with the professional teams, the English Premier League soccer, they had over 20,000 tests. They tested 20 teams with their players, coaches, medical staff. 20,000 tests from the time they restarted their season in mid-May till just a few weeks ago at the end of July, right?
Mm-hmm.
Out of those 20,000 tests, only 20 were positive tests. And none were reported as severe or, that related. They didn't shut down games. They didn't stop seasons. They didn't move locations. The people that tested positive, I think they had like a 10-day quarantine, and that was it.
Oh, well, all right. So here go my question about soccer, because English Premier League, is that like Manchester United?
Yes.
Okay. Is Barcelona in that league as well?
No, they're in the
Barcelona. Which league they play in?
La Liga. That's in
La
Spain.
Liga. What about Real Madrid? That's in Spain too.
They're also La Liga.
I'm gonna tell you who my favorite soccer players, man, is Vladimir Ibrahimovic.
His name is Zlatan.
Zlatan? It's not Vladimir? Zlatan. I used to call him Bramovich on FIFA because he went hard.
He's Swedish. He's Swedish.
Yeah, he's Swedish.
He's Swedish.
Damn.
But no, I mean just comparing the sports, English Premier League did a great job. Major League Baseball is not doing a good job. You have all this money to test.
NBA doing good too.
But I'm saying you have money and resources to test, and then your players are not, being held accountable for their actions outside of the grounds. And you've seen baseball players, man. They sit in a dugout. They
be chilling.
It's very social. You know what I mean? Soccer, they're moving, they're spread out. They're sitting on the bench.
Right.
5 seats between them. But it's interesting now is that, are we going to have fans? Are we not going to have fans?
So look, the Raiders came out, I think either today or yesterday, and said that they just built a new stadium in Las Vegas. It's brand new. It's completed now. Like, people was worried about if it was going to be completed in time.
Mm-hmm.
It's been completed, but they made an announcement that they are going to play the season without any fans.
That's official.
It's done. The Raiders are not going to have
just
fans
the Raiders?
in Allegiant Stadium. I don't know any other teams who I know that the Saints, the New Orleans mayor has canceled every public event for like the rest of the year. So I don't think the Saints are going to have fans, or either they're going to play like all their games on the road or something like that. So so it's like, I had been on the fence because I went to a game in Oakland. I went to the last game that was played in the stadium in Oakland. Mm-hmm. And the year before that, I went to like the second to last game. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go to Vegas, especially I wanted to go see when the Saints play. But that's over. I'm not even worried about going to any games this year. I'm just going to stay at the house and watch them on TV. And that's.
By the way, is Vegas, is it overrated, or is it just?
I've never been to Vegas.
Okay, I thought you'd been to Vegas before.
Nope, never. I was supposed to go this summer for Lon's bachelor party.
I thought that was okay. The bachelor party got canceled.
They got canceled.
So Reed, I've been thinking a lot about the whole sports thing, right? So, as a teacher and a coach, would you say, you know what, we'll not have sports as long as you let the kids come back to school? Like, would you do that? Because I'm willing to, like, just to get the kids in school, and they said, you know what, we're not going to have sports for the entire fall. We're going to move all sports to the spring. Some sports may get canceled. People may cry, but you know what? Baseball and softball just got their sports canceled, and golf and all this other stuff. So everybody's so worried about football. But my thing is this: doesn't it make you realize how much our country and as a society that we put so much importance on professional sports or college sports, and we invest so much money and time, and even high school sports? I mean, as a country, this is what I hear most of the talk about, right? Playing sports.
Yeah, that's for sure.
People talk about playing sports or not playing sports more than they do the schools opening up. And there's millions of dollars put into testing for all these professional teams so we can watch them play a game, but we don't have millions of dollars put in place for the schools for testing and extra
going into the schools
precautions.
that
You know what I'm saying? So as a country, we're already a little backwards. The fact that we are putting so much emphasis and importance on sports and reopening. But again, I digress. I'm a coach. Like,
oh Lord,
I want my season to happen so bad. You know what I mean?
Bruh, you know how hard of a
Please,
question
Jesus,
you just
let
asked
there
me?
be high school soccer in Mississippi this year. Please,
You
Jesus.
know what you just asked me, dog?
Please.
Like, I really don't even want to respond to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna just be honest. You know, I got into teaching because I wanted to be a coach. Hold up, come back. I'm not done yet.
I'm sorry.
I'm not done yet. Come back.
Sorry.
All right, so look.
Wait. Did you say, right, we become teachers, but also it's like, but I want to be a coach. So in order to be a coach in high school, I got to be a teacher.
If I wasn't a coach, I might not be a teacher. I'm not going to say that I wouldn't, but I'm going to say it would be a different way of getting into it. I think I'm a really good teacher. I use what I learned as a coach. I use what I learned as a player to kind of bring that in the classroom. My classroom teaching philosophy is this is a team game, and we are going to win these lessons day by day. We are going to win this curriculum. You know what I'm saying? So that's my approach, and I'm, you know, I don't, you know, obviously I'm different than I am at practice than I am in the classroom, but you know, I use, you know, what I've learned through sports to be the person that I am. So do we like over prioritize sports in this society? 100%, no doubt. I ain't gonna, and I'm guilty of it. So I would say
Me too.
if they said that we gonna cancel sports, I'm still gonna go to work. I'm still gonna teach on the level that and try to be the best teacher I can be, 100%. But I would be hurting inside more so for those seniors and those athletes for that didn't get the opportunity that I did to play, you know, my 4 years of high school. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't get those years back. Some kids aren't going to be as lucky as we were to get an opportunity to play in college, even though that might be their dream. Like, man, I remember that first time I got on the field on a Saturday afternoon and was like, I'm a college football player? For real? Me? I did that? Man, it blew my mind. So, you know, everybody don't get that experience, but some kids are gonna miss out on that experience if we don't get to play this season.
And they already have.
Just imagine.
They already have.
Yeah, some of them already have. Yeah, like that's already happening. It hurts me to hear.
I know, and it gets into the, you know, health or wealth. You know, what's more important here, and I think we're gonna be okay, man. I'm just using my, you know, what I see around me and what I know around me. I'm not fixing to go into stats, whatever, but it's
I can handle it if we don't get to play.
Well, it's definitely an interesting question to pose. And look, to all of these coaches who their seasons got canceled, you know, we're fortunate we coach like club select soccer and you coach club baseball. So we would still get to coach necessarily, you know, with those independent run leagues, assuming that certain guidelines aren't, you know, overbearing on those sports to where they shut them down. But hey, all you coaches that don't have teams, like, go coach some rec teams, go coach in the community. You know how many rec programs around where I live need volunteer coaches? So many. And you know,
same here.
Like youth programs could benefit from it. You know, coaches just offering their services. If you want to coach them.
But what if those youth programs, if the high school teams can't play, then the middle school teams probably can't play, and the youth teams probably can't play either. You know, it depends on what league you're in. Because I was able to keep coaching and you doing your thing. It just kind of depends on where you're at. Because a lot of those getting shut down too.
But they're independently run, you know, organizations. So again, society is just contradicting itself on this health issue because everybody's still doing their own thing, man. Like, everybody's doing their
sector.
own thing. Everybody's doing their own thing, and some people are being forced to live this way, and some are being forced to live this way. Some aren't affected at all. But you and I are definitely affected, and I want my kids to be in school. Dude, I've been at home for 5 months, Reed. 5 since March with my kids.
Since March. Yeah.
I've been, oh man, I have an 8-year-old and a 14-year-old, and they play with friends in the neighborhood, but there's only so much you can do as a family. It's difficult. It's been difficult. Not that I haven't enjoyed it and embraced it, the time with them.
Right, for sure.
But I definitely just want my kids to have that social interaction with their friends again, I just feel like that's so important for their mental health, and hopefully we'll get there and with, and everyone will be safe about starting schools up, in 3 weeks, and hopefully football can go ahead and play, whether it was with or without fans, and just so the kids don't, lose any of those life-changing experiences, through sports and schools, Yep. And in college too, I don't at the pro level. I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to be biased, but those guys need paychecks too, but and they're definitely playing because they love it.
We could be biased for the young kids against the pros though, man.
Yeah, you know what?
They played all through growing up, and they got probably,
and they've got millions of dollars, so
they ain't really hurting. They could still sustain their life. Like, we talking about kids that they could change their life if they get opportunity to play. Like, the right break for some kids only comes in their senior year. They get picked up by some school, they ball out, they work hard, and then they end up, making it to, like Dame Lillard, for example. That man went to like Utah State. Nobody really knew about Dame Lillard, and now he's doing this thing. Like, people who come from these small schools and end up blowing up in these small towns, who really ain't come from nothing and use whatever sport it was to get out of where they came from. Even Sonia is another example. Like, she ain't end up making millions on a soccer circuit, but she lives her dreams coming from a small town, getting the opportunity to play in college, getting the opportunity to play pro national team, and now coaching on.
Giving back though, she's giving back.
Right. And so,
and that's what,
that's what we doing too.
That's what's tough about the pros, is because there are a lot who essentially, give so much of their time and money to communities and schools. But anyway, Reed, I see we hitting up on the that mark we was talking about. I didn't know if you wanted to close with anything in particular tonight, man. But
I got a little something. What you got?
All I got, man, is maybe we could, if you're watching Tyrone Timmons, maybe your next interview, man, next week, got to hop on. Sonia made it look easy. You know what I mean? She made it look easy. So
you did put it out there already?
Might as well.
You're putting it out there. All right. So that's what it is. We already got that booked for next week. Tyrone Timmons, from our teammate on the football team, our classmate that came in together with us in 2002 in Coach Totten's first class in Mississippi Valley, will be joining us and kind of talking about some things that he's doing, and kind of a similar situation with Sonia, just reminisce a little bit, tell, update, catch up, and, share some good times that we had, and, kind of promote what he has going on, because Tyrone is doing a lot of great things on the scene in Florida. And, me and him have kept in touch over, throughout all the years as well. And, I'm really looking forward to having him on. And he actually interviewed me for his documentary that he did. So this is just, us doing it again, man. So I'm excited about that. And also, man, we have touched, as of yesterday, we touched 500 likes and follows on our page on Facebook, Chestnut Checkers Podcast. And that's in like a month's time. that we've been able to build what we build. And then we kind of just started from scratch, just coming right into it. And shout out to Noah Trujillo, who is another one of our classmates to play baseball, who, you know, keeps our page updated with the news and comments and things like that. So shout out to him and our team that we building here at Chestnut Checkers, and it's a fun time to be a part of it. So we want to build our YouTube presence as well. So please go and subscribe to that. I'm working on the Instagram and the Twitter and whatever else. Like we say that a lot. We end up getting, you know, school starting, and we kind of busy with what other things we got going on. But we in this for the long haul, and we appreciate our wives and our family for, you know, supporting us and giving us time to do it, you know, at the crib or whatever.
And we're up to date on all the YouTube videos, by the way.
Yeah, we are.
So all eight sessions are on there.
And we gonna start, you know, breaking up and doing some other different types of content as well. We got some things that we've been talking about and some things that we planning. So we want to be transparent about this experience as in this journey that we sharing with y'all. And you know, we really thank you from the bottom of my hearts. Anybody who ever tunes in or clicks a link or likes the page or, you know, makes a comment anywhere or subscribes to YouTube, whatever. You know, we just sincerely appreciate that, because you don't have to do it. It doesn't take much to click like, but it's still an action that you have to choose to do in order to support us. So any way that anybody wants to support, the door is open. We open the suggestions about what y'all think y'all would like to hear us talk about. We'll scratch the surface on anything, and try to be respectful of our positions and any situation that might come up. So this is a great experience, and I'm enjoying doing it with my brother Trey right here.
Appreciate that, young Reed.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All that mushy stuff over with, though, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know we got love for you, but you know, we'll talk about you too.
All right. Well, all right, man. So hopefully Tyrone Timmons next week,
8:00.
Tell us what's going on from Tampa, Florida. And hopefully the world will not blow up by then, young Reed, and we can reconvene.
Step by step, day by day, baby.
All right, man. Take care, young Reed.
You too, man. Y'all tell kiss my goddaughter for me and punch my my nephew.
I'm going right now.
All right, peace. Peace, y'all.